Hey guys, it's me, Trevis. This is the episode you guys have been waiting for. This is the numbers episode as part of my TrevisFlips series, my house flipping series, and this is where I go through, the beginning cost, the middle cost, and the end cost. I just got the closing documents from my realtor a couple days ago, so I actually know, as of that email, how much money I am making on this property. Not a guesstimation, not anything like that. I know all of the exact numbers of, the closing cost when I sell this, how much money is hitting my bank account. I have all of those details right now, and I want to share it with you guys to help paint the picture of, this entire adventure from start to finish. I know this is one you guys have been waiting for, so let's get to it. So the cost of this property, this was an off-market property. If you guys don't remember what that means it wasn't put, on the market where, realtors were involved or anything like that. It was off market, so I bought it directly from the owner, no realtors involved, and it was $235,000. So that was the cost of the property. Now, it was actually wholesaled to me, and there was $35,000 in wholesale fees among a handful of people that helped get the word out and get the property from point A all the way to me to meet my ownership of it. $35,000 is quite a hefty price tag at this price range for an assignment fee, so I wanted to make sure that there's still enough juice in the squeeze for me to bother with it. If you remember one of my earliest episodes when I was just talking about it, even before the closing day of me getting it, I was kind of worried and skeptical, like maybe this is not going to work out after all. So $235,000 is the cost for me to buy it. Now, because I did not want to spend nor have $235,000 to buy a house with, I had to get what's called hard money. Now, you can't get traditional financing. Like, you can't get a regular mortgage with these kind of wholesale properties. It has to be all cash. So you have to go through a different kind of financing to get it, which one of the popular terms for private lending in this kind of sector is called hard money, where the interest rates are, a little bit higher, and the loans are, 12-month loans, 6 to 12-month loans, depending on the situation. So even though I didn't have to go through a realtor on the owner who was selling its side or my side, because I just bought it directly from them, there were no closing costs in terms of commission. But there's still a lot of cost when it comes to closing cost of, especially with the hard money loan, the origination fee, the brokerage fee, and all these other things. So collectively, the closing cost of the loan fees, and then all the title, insurance, all the other stuff, the collective amount of closing cost was $16,300. Okay, so I'm getting a loan, hard money loan, $16,300 is the closing cost, and then the loan itself, the total loan amount that I got, the hard money loan was $221,700. But you're like, okay, well, if you're getting a loan for $221,000 and the house costs $235,000, you only have to pay, roughly, $13,000, $14,000. Oh no, that's not that amount. $221,000 is not for the entire. All of that does not go towards the purchase. A good chunk of that is part of the rehab. So you have to know, like, this is what we're fixing, this is how much it's going to cost, and you have to have a rehab number. So the rehab number we had for this hard money loan was $45,500. So that was our rehab, guesstimation estimate based on what we believed needed to be fixed to sell this at the top, at top dollar. So $221,700 is the total loan. $45,500 of that was towards rehab, which only left $176,200 towards the purchase. So out of a $235,000 cost, the loan was giving me $176,000. So because there's still a good chunk there, there was, let me see, what was the rest? I have the number here pulled up. Purchase cost. So it was roughly $58,800 that was not coming from the loan that still had to go to the purchase, which means it came out of my pocket. So paint this picture slowly for you. Loan gives me $176,000, roughly $176,000. I pay roughly $58,000. That collectively goes towards, plus some change and stuff, goes towards the $235,000 cost. So $176,000 is from the loan, $58,000, $59,000 is from me. But that's not all my out-of-pocket money, because I still have to pay those $16,300 in closing cost. So collectively, my out-of-pocket at closing for me to buy this house, the amount of money out-of-pocket I had to spend to buy this house was $75,100. That was my out-of-pocket cost, which includes the closing cost and the amount to purchase the house that was not covered by the loan. Because remember, the loan's only $176,000. The house cost $235,000. There's a good chunk left over there. $75,100 was my out-of-pocket. to obtain the house. So out of pocket, I have the house, keys are mine, bada bing, bada boom. Let's get to fixing. Now, if you guys remember, I went through a lot of the rehab stuff through my social media channels, but just a quick recap. The rehab part of the loan, the amount of the loan they put towards the rehab that we estimated, was about $45,500. When all was said and done, we did go a little bit over that. When all was said and done, I rounded it up probably like 1,000 because I know there's maybe one or two things that are untracked there. Very, very small things. But I rounded up for safety to 54,000. So we guesstimated 45, 46. It got to 54 because there were a lot of things that you guys watch the TV shows. There are always things that are unknown halfway through the project, and you're like, crap, we got to add that to it. So collectively, 45,000 is the number for the rehab from start to finish. That includes everything, the landscape, the insides, the outsides, the whole kit and caboodle. So we know the numbers from the beginning and from, the middle, which is the rehab, 54,000. So the end numbers of how much is going to result, so we can calculate my profit. After all is said and done, we put the house on the market for $358,888. We got tons, a handful of offers, like day one, first weekend. We had an open house and everything. We actually had multiple offers, so we were able to go kind of back and forth a little bit and more or less have them sweeten the deal. The offer that we accepted was $360,000 with $15,500 over appraisal. Now, this is something I explain to people who don't understand. Like, if you're not in this industry, which it's fine, that's why I'm here to kind of assist educate where I can. If you put a house on the market for $1 million and someone comes up to you and says, yes, I want that house for $1 million, and they're getting traditional financing, which means a bank is going to give them a mortgage for the house, the bank will only give you a mortgage on what an official certified appraiser says the house is going to be worth. So if you say you want to sell it for $1 million, and somebody's like, yes, I want the house for $1 million, and then the bank sends out an appraiser to get an official appraisal, a certified official appraisal on the house, and they're like, this house is only worth $200,000. They're not going to give this guy a loan for $1 million if the house is only worth $200,000. So that helps the banks make sure that they're not, giving mortgages on houses that aren't worth it. So even if I had $1 million price tag and somebody said yes, it doesn't matter. So I got somebody to accept, to offer $360,000. But of course, it's contingent on an appraisal, unless of course they waive that in the contract. But more often than not, that's something that's not waived. And so they had another, bonus feature of this offer where they would pay in cash $15,500 more than what the appraisal is. So if the bank, because they're getting traditional financing, sends out an appraiser to get an appraisal, and it comes out at, let's say, $330,000, like $30,000 less than the offer, this buyer is going to add $15,500 on top of that. So if it does come back at $330,000, in theory, for an example, then I'm still selling the house for $345,500. So there's just this little cushion there because it's definitely a seller's market at this time where everybody's competing against everybody, so I want to make sure they have the best offer possible. It's like, okay, so in theory, if the house appraises for $15,000 less, than the offer, I still get the entire offer because they have that bonus feature on their offer. So, the appraiser got sent out, and the appraisal was $360,000 on the nose, which was amazing. So that $15,000 bonus doesn't matter because they are only going to pay up to $360,000. So it's not like I'm getting $375,000. So they don't need to, so that bonus doesn't even matter. That was just like a safety net for my side, but it doesn't matter because the house appraised for what their original offer was, $360,000. There was a little snag in the inspection side where the inspector said that the house was on septic, which isn't a huge deal, but there was a lot of, like roots and stuff getting in it. So it's kind of that he just highly recommended, or urged, or whatever the word is, that the septic tank gets replaced. And so we went back and forth with the seller me being the seller and with the buyer to agree on me paying out of pocket when all is said and done back to them to put towards the getting the septic tank replaced. So we agreed on $4,500 for that. So let's go through the final numbers now. Now that I've explained all of that, if you have any questions about this, by the way, please just add them in the comments of this video. I'm more than happy to answer them in the comments, or just do, if there's enough of the same exact question, I can even do another mini episode regarding that situation. I'm here to kind of educate as much as I can as I myself go through the learning process of all of these real estate flipping adventures. So the final numbers here. $360,000 is what we're selling it at, including the closing costs. So I got I got a realtor, my really good friend that I went to high school with and college with, and he's one of the best marketing selling agents in the Central Florida area. So I knew before I even got, way before I even got this house, I go, when I get this house and I'm flipping it, when I'm getting a house and I'm flipping it, you're gonna be the guy. $360,000 was the final selling price. All the closing costs aside, me paying back the entire hard money loan, plus a little bit of the interest that's left over that I still haven't paid yet, and including the $4,500 that I agreed to put towards replacing the septic tank, the amount that gets paid to me at closing from that $360,000 minus the loan, which, like we said, is about $221-ish, $222, minus the closing cost as well, because we pay commissions and everything else, because we have realtors on both sides, because this house was on market. The amount that gets paid back to me is just shy of $111,000. So when I say that, you're like, man, you made $111,000 on this house. No, that's how much gets paid back to me. You have to remember how much I've already paid out of pocket. So now we have to cancel those out to see how much we're actually going to profit when all is said and done. So how much gets paid to me? Let's just say it's, like I said, just a couple hundred shy, but let's say it's $111,000. $111,000 is how much gets paid to me. What was my out of pocket, if you remember, of me buying the house, which was the closing cost, which includes the hard money loan fees, and the amount that was left over out of pocket for me to purchase the house, that $58,000-ish. The out of pocket for me buying it was $75,000. Okay, what else did I spend out of pocket? I had to get insurance on the house, as well as insurance on all the contractors and the people working in the house in case they got hurt. I had to get insurance for that as well. So the insurance was $2,153. That's how much the insurance cost. It was a 6-month insurance plan or a 12-month insurance plan, and $2,153 was the cost of that. Electricity and water weren't that bad. They're about $50 a month. So collectively for 3 months, I got the house in mid-December, and I'm closing on it here in mid-March, so pretty much 3 months on the dot. 150 electricity, 150 water, so 300 total. And then we have how much we paid over the rehab estimate. So remember, the loan itself is already calculated in this payback process, which was $45,500. So how much more than that did we pay that wasn't part of the loan, which means it was my out of pocket? We had at that about $8,898 or $8,900. Okay, so we take that out of it. Is there anything left? Yes, there's interest payments on your hard money loan. So every month, every calendar month, you have to pay an interest payment. I got lucky enough where I had an amazing broker who helped me out, and we got, I believe it was an 8.5% interest rate, which is pretty low for a hard money loan. He actually said it was probably the lowest he's ever done, especially for someone who's going through this process for the first time of going, through this brokerage and going through Lending Home, who was the actual lender. But the interest payments, I paid one, at the very beginning, which was part of the closing cost, and then I paid one in January, and I paid one in February, and then the one that's included for March is already included in that. It's already excluded from what hits my bank account on closing day. So the 2 months was $2,900, or we'll just say $3,000. So that was the 2 months worth. So like $1,500 a month. That's just interest payments on this loan. So if I had this house for 6 more months, and every month is $1,500, $1,500, $1,500. So the only other number that we got to add in this equation, this owner left a ton of stuff in the house. A lot of appliances. I sold 2 refrigerators. I sold 1 or 2 ceiling fans. I sold a lot of furniture, a lot of tables. I sold a nice washing machine. I sold a range oven. And I sold like a few other pieces of furniture. And this is all on Facebook Marketplace too. So I came into the house with a bunch of stuff. I knew I'm putting all new things in there, so all new appliances. So I got rid of everything I could. So I made back about $800 in selling what he left there. So he left me roughly, I could probably sell it for a little bit more, but I was like, listen, I'll just take the profit where I can get it. $800 on Facebook Marketplace, sold a ton of stuff. And so we're adding that into it as well. Running through the numbers one last time. Paid to me at closing, $111,000. Well, I'll give you the exact numbers because that's what I have to pull it right here. So paid to me at closing, $110,859.89. Out of pocket, what it cost me to buy the house, out of pocket, which is all the fees and everything included, and the purchase price that I have to pay out of pocket, $75,100.52, 42 cents. Insurance, $2,153. Electricity for the 3 months, $150. Water for the 3 months, $150. The amount of rehab we went over with that was not included in the loan, $8,898. Interest payments, those 2 months, $2,937.52, plus the $800 profit from selling the items. We are looking at, I guess we can do the exact same number here, $22,270.95. So when all is said and done, on my very first flip, including all the interest payments and everything put in there from start to finish, I'm walking away from this first flip by myself with roughly $22,300 in total profit. You can't complain about that. Now, granted, it's a 3-month time span, but there really was only 2 months of the flipping side and then getting the house, accepting the offer, and then like a month of just the closing process. So I was there quite often for the first 2 months, and we sold the house, and now it's just, going through the process of making sure all the paperwork is in order and everything's good to go and have the inspector and the appraisal and stuff. So the last month wasn't really much of anything. So if you're going to calculate actual work, you can just calculate the 2 months. So I'm making roughly $22,300 for those 2 months, about $11,000 a month, which easy math says that's six. If I was constantly in motion of doing this, that's easily a 6-figure job in itself. And this is not even my main source of income. So this is definitely going to be a continuous part of It's Me, Trevis House Flipping. If you have any questions about any of the numbers I went over, or if you're doing something yourself, or if you want even a little bit of insight or help, or if you have a lot of money and you want to be part of real estate and you don't know how to get started and you want to partner with me on my next one, it doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to live in Central Florida where I'm at, where all my flipping community and my network is. If you want your money to grow more and it's not just sitting in a checking account or a bank account not doing anything, also comment on this video or find a way to shoot me a message. If you don't want to comment publicly, it's fine. But I'm always open to partnerships and joint ventures. But yeah, all is said and done. That's the number. About $22,300 in profit off house number 1. Stay tuned for house number 2.